I just got this Radio Shack Highball #2 microphone in the mail, and I was just testing it out. Everything works great, really like how it sounds. And in the process, I got out the one I already owned, which is a slightly different model. This is the older version, and I've used this countless times. And today when I plugged it in to mess around with it, I noticed a really bad humming problem. And I've never had this problem before, so now I gotta diagnose what the hell is going on here. The first thing you're always gonna want to do is get out your trusty multimeters and make sure nothing is shorted anywhere. So here is the end of the microphone that is not working correctly. I'm gonna put my multimeter in continuity mode here to see if there's a short. Okay, I just want to quickly explain how the continuity mode on this meter works. Every meter is going to be slightly different, but they all do just about the same thing. So in this mode, you're testing whether or not there's continuity between the two probes. And in its normal state, the meter reads a 1 here, showing that there's no continuity between these two probes. If I put these together, you will see that the meter goes towards 0, showing complete continuity. If I put a resistive load between the two probes, you will see that the meter goes to a number somewhere in the hundreds. And this shows that there is continuity in the circuit, however, there is a resistive load between the two probes. And when I put the probes across the jack here, I do in fact have a short. Hopefully it's just the cable and this video is really short and all I have to do is just replace the cable. That would be amazing. Let's open it up to see what exactly is going on. Okay, so here we have the insides of the microphone. We have the diaphragm here, the switch assembly here. This is the transformer that is taking the low impedance signal and converting it into a high impedance signal. And here are our connections. So let's take the microphone that I got in the mail today and do a reference check. You see on this microphone, this is one of the later models that doesn't have the dual impedance option. This is only a low impedance model, so this one doesn't have that same transformer in it. What I'm going to do here to test the cable is I'm going to solder off one of the connections on these 3 terminals connecting to this jack, and then I'm going to test the jack again for a short, and if a short still exists, that means the cable is no bueno. I'm getting nothing. No short. The next thing to do here is to look farther up the electrical circuit to see where else a short could be possible. So I'm going to test the 2 terminals that those 2 previous wires were connected to. That's interesting. The meter is showing that there is some impedance between the 2 probes. If you look at the electrical circuit of a microphone, this will make sense because the 2 wires are connected through a transformer, which has some of its own resistance. I'm still skeptical about the cable not being the issue, only because we started with a complete short across these jacks. And now I cannot recreate the same short. So I'm going to do further investigating here with this cable, maybe move it around a bit and see if I could get a short to appear on the jack. Okay, so I did a lot of testing off camera and I'm still not exactly sure what is wrong with this. I'm just going to go and take the nuclear option here. And I'm just going to replace the microphone cable. This way, it's no longer in the equation. Testing. Alright, so I just did a bunch of testing and it definitely works now. So it was really just as simple as a cable change, and that is good news in my book. Of course, when I go to record the close-up shots weeks later, I accidentally rip off the red wire going to the diaphragm. And this was mainly due to just negligence. I hate doing these types of solders on these really tiny wires because it's really easy to get it too hot and to melt things and just ugly things going on. So I'm going to put my soldering iron pretty low in heat and hope for the best here. It's always these simplest repairs that are sometimes the most difficult. I think Radio Shack must have used the cheapest wire possible. It is the thinnest gauge I've ever seen of any wire. I'm stressing out over here now.
I did it.
Alright, before I run out of battery, let's test it out. Hopefully you can hear my voice. And it is hopefully working. We will see later. I think everyone ought to buy one of these Radio Shack mics. They're a dime a dozen, so anyone can get one for real cheap, and I think they work great on things like drums or some really gritty guitars, and they should be in everyone's arsenal. Here's a quick example of me using this as a overhead drum microphone.